Action.
Hello and welcome to A Gypsy's Kiss, the vlog. I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice. Thanks for joining us today. Stick with us a couple of seconds and we will tell you all about our Southern Colorado adventure.
Whee!
Jason's here. As you already heard me say, or talked under the logo, Jason's here. Jimmy Fast is here. Howdy. T.I. Mattis. Rick Plank. Okay. So,
Housekeeping.
it is indeed.
You want to tell about the internet upgrade?
Yes, because what I want to see, just let me take a look so make sure I'm not lying here. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, guys, so based on our issues from last week, I decided to switch over from Comcast to CenturyLink and got a dedicated service line at 170 down and 20 up, which should be plenty for us. So I'm hoping that we don't see any problems with buffering today. You should, unless there's something on your side, and I can't do anything about that. But we solved that problem, and so we did that. We kind of did that for, I was going to say for you, but it was for as much us as it was you.
But we appreciate your contributions that helped us do that.
Yeah, letting us know that you were having problems on the buffering side. Also, the event last Wednesday was not only it was embarrassing for me because I'd invited Dr. Smith on to come and speak to us, and I wanted to give him a chance to do that because he has some really good information, and I'm very grateful, actually, that he decided to come back when I asked him. So we're very pleased with that. But the performance problem should go away unless it's something absolutely out of our control, because we've fixed everything that is in our control. So I'm going to show you a sampling of photos that we took from our recent Southern Colorado trip. And I want you to know that the photos will be posted to our blog this afternoon at 2 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. So you'll be able to see all of them then. I'd like to say thanks to our moderators. Oops, I'll let you take that from me.
All right. I want to send out a big thanks to our moderators who keep our chat room smooth and what do you want it? Smooth jazz. Oh, we keep us safe and smooth running. And our moderators are Jimmy Fast, Joel Lewicki, Jason Eunice, and Brian Eagle. And if you would like to be a moderator to provide backup to these wonderful gentlemen, give us an email at gypsieskiss@gmail.com and let us know you're interested in becoming a moderator. We would love to have you, and we'll send you some information on that. Also, I'm looking for moderators for the softer side. So if you'd like to be a moderator for the softer side, you can email me at thesofterside.info@gmail.com and let me know, and I'll add you to my moderator list. I'm going to start live streaming Thursday right after book club, so I'm looking for some moderators to help me out in the chat room. All right, today's presentation about our Southern Colorado Recon will be followed by open Q&A. And you want to talk about the searcher coin?
Yeah. So today we're going to give away one of the Fenn searcher coins. And so for those of you that have already won any of our trivia quizzes, you can qualify for this one as well. But I'm going to put a new caveat on it. And that is, in order to win, you must be a subscriber to this channel. So these are going to go to our subscribers. I originally ordered 10 of them. 7 of them were spoken for between our team members and our moderators. That left me with 3 to give away, but here's the good news. Last night, I ordered 10 more from Mike Cowlings. So for the next 13 Tuesday shows, we'll be giving one of these coins away to our subscribers. And the only caveat on that is A, that you have to be a subscriber, and B, if you've already won one, you can't win another, all right, because I'd like to spread them out as much as possible. Here's the other thing. Mike wrote me last night, and he said that mine, our last order of 10, was the last of the coins. There are no more to be sold, and as you're probably aware, if you've already ordered one, Mike sent a message out saying that Forrest has I don't want to say nixed, but has asked that there be no further coins. So there's only going to be 1,000 of them in copper, no silver, no gold. So the last of them have been sold, and we got the last 10. And we'll be giving those 10 away on our program over the next 13, including the 3 that we have now, over the next 13 Tuesday episodes, on which we have episodes because we've got some travel plans in there. Okay, so Fenn coin today. We'll give you the quiz at the end of the program, and you have to be a subscriber to win. Okay.
And that's just to celebrate the search season and the summer of I feel in my gut, it's going to be found.
Yeah. Yeah, think of it this way. If it's found, then you will have a memory of not having found the treasure like us. So.
Oh,
Okay.
well. Yes, moving on.
Moving on. Oh, I need my keyboard. Wait a minute.
Wait,
Can I do this with the mouse? Let me see.
I don't know. What are you doing?
Wait a minute. I'm trying to advance this. Oh, I can. Okay,
Oh.
so I don't need the keyboard.
All right. Today, pictures. There's me in the orange in the back seat and my husband next to me.
I would have been in the seat next to the driver, but I was taking the picture. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a transition here over to our photos. And here we go with our transition. There we go.
All right.
And I'm going to go back up here to the slides so I can advance those. Can I advance
Picture
those
out the window. I bet Kevin took that one.
He did. So what we're going to talk about today is our weekend adventure to what we call Southern Colorado because we spent a lot of time there. I'm sure that'll bring up the question as whether we're searching in New Mexico. And the answer is yes. And it was a really fun weekend. I mean, I don't know, at times I felt like a little kid. I don't know how else to describe a 69-year-old behaving the way that I was. But it was just a fun trip. And it's actually divided into 3 very distinct stories. So I've incorporated them all into this one long story. But I'm going to tell you when we get into story number 2 and story number 3. And as I said earlier with Shelley's help, this is just a sampling of the dozens of photos that we shot. And then this afternoon at 2 p.m., the photos will be uploaded to our blog so you can see the whole set of photos that we took in 3 different folders, okay? So the reason I had Kevin take this picture is Kevin noticed as we were driving up, and honestly, I don't think this picture does it justice, does it? So as we were driving up, Kevin noticed there was a haze over to our east. And what we realized that this haze was the smoke from the Ute Park fire in the Cimarron. And at that time, it was 0% contained and the smoke had migrated all over. At this point, we're about 45 miles away from Ute Park, east of us. And but the smoke had migrated its way all the way over to where we were going up the road going north on the road in New Mexico that we were going at. This picture was taken just above Tres Piedras. So that gives you an idea of what we were seeing. Now, I checked with the Ute Park Fire this morning. It's 25% contained. The state park, the Cimarron State Park, is still closed. So if you have any plans of going up there, make sure you check nmfireinfo.com.
They got some rain on Sunday, didn't they?
They did, and I think that helped the containment down to 25%. But when you look, if you look at the entry for that fire on nmfireinfo.com, they've got 250 people working, 13 trucks, aircraft. I mean, it's still a busy fire. So if you have plans to get to Cimarron, or the Santa Fe National Forest, which is still closed, that fire in Santa Fe National Forest is 100% contained, but they still haven't reopened the forest. So just make sure that when you do go, or before you do go, you make sure you check nmfireinfo.com for those entries on the Ute Park Fire and the Santa Fe National Forest. Oh man, that's not what I wanted to do with that. No, I'm going to say to change I just wanted to go a little back slide. Okay, we're still good. Okay, go back here. All right. Rats. Oh no, I can do it with that. There we go. So this is us crossing the line from northern New Mexico into southern Colorado. Welcome to colorful Colorado. There's a corresponding sign on the other side of the road that says New Mexico True, and I didn't get a picture of that because we've got a bunch of pictures of that. So on the way up to the location that we were going to recon, and I should mention this this did not start out to be a recon. This started out to be a scouting trip. We were just going to take a look around, shoot some drone footage, shoot some thermal camera footage. We liked the area, but it didn't start out to be a scouting trip because we were concerned about the river flow, and I'll explain that in just a couple of minutes. So this is Shelley collecting detritus. Explain to him
Rocks and bits of trees.
Explain to him what you're doing.
Because I want to create a model of our search solution so that we have hands-on and visualization of where we're going and what we're looking for.
So she spent some of her time collecting items from the area to give us a sense of the spirit of that nature.
Yeah.
Or the nature of that spirit.
Yeah, and collecting stuff from the area where we're looking is good karma. I don't know. It's it's what I was told to do.
By her spirit guide.
Mm-hmm.
So this is as far as we got. We couldn't
Last
get it.
time.
No, I'm just kidding. So this, as you may remember, was our stopping point from the last time we were there in April, and we decided, because this doesn't look like it, but it's straight downhill, and we decided this was as far as we could get without putting. And at that time we had a rental truck. So we looked down that road and realized that we could probably get down, but it was unlikely that we could get up. So that was as far as that particular scouting trip got. But the good news is this is how the road looked today. And as you can see, let me go back so you can see the difference.
Saturday, but yes.
So I'm sorry, Saturday. So no leaves on the trees and still cold enough to maintain this kind of iceberg-like flow as far as I was concerned. And this was it this last Saturday. You will note, of course, that I'm wearing exactly the same pair of pants and boots.
Different shirt, though.
Different shirt. Yeah, it's warmer. Trees were green, road was clear. It looked like they had even had time to grade it. So I was real happy with that. That gave us the opportunity to continue with our trip. By the way, that orange thing, that fluorescent orange thing you see hanging around my neck, is a camera strap that when we went to our lander trip, I realized I had forgotten my camera strap, and we went into a sporting goods store, and this guy cut off some paracord and a bungee clip and made a camera strap for me. And I thought that was nice. He didn't charge. Did he charge me for it? No. Yeah,
But you bought something anyway.
Right.
So.
I bought something else, but he made that for me. So I still use it. Just kind of good luck. So road was clear. That gets us all the way to Osher. Osher. It's spelled O-S-I-E-R, and it's pronounced Osher. Make sure that when you speak to the locals, you use Osher and not Osier, because they will correct you. Kind of like when you say Popo Aggie in Lander, they'll correct you and say it's the Poposia. And those three Polaris 4 ATVs will play into our story in just a little bit. But it was interesting. I didn't know at the time how much impact they were going to have on the rest of the story. So this is Osher. We had a good time there.
The road to Osher was reasonable. You didn't need a special vehicle to get there. The parking lot was a little rough, but past Osher Station it got a little rough. So if you're thinking of going there, you can drive to this spot in pretty much any kind of vehicle.
Right. And Osher is the lunchtime stop for the Cumberson-Toltec Railroad, narrow gauge railroad. That's where they stop for lunch, and that's the building that they have lunch in. So I've got some more pictures of that in just a minute. I had something else to say. Oh, up until this time, we took my new vehicle, the 4-wheel drive Frontier. Up until this point, I had used 2-wheel drive only. I hadn't had to invoke 4-wheel drive. Now, later on, as we went past it, I had to go to both 4-wheel drive and downhill control. So it gets a little bit sticky wicket. I don't know that a 2-wheel drive vehicle could have made it. I feel comfortable that we could have made it to here in my SUV, which was a front-wheel drive. So my Kia Sorento. So we took time to shoot some not promos, but some intros and outros. And while the folks were boarding the train, and Shelley was, of course, very cooperative in helping me get that footage. It was a lot of fun. This is the rig that I use to shoot some of that mobile footage. It's actually a Sha-Yun 3-axis stabilizer that uses your smartphone as a camera. And this particular version of the iPhone is an SE, and it shoots in 4K. So it gives me really high resolution stuff. I'm very pleased with it. And the stability is amazing. It's like new world when I look at it. So that's Shelley. As I was lining up the shot, we were going to have her walk down the train while it was in motion, as you'll see in our outro today. And all of a sudden, this guy lets go a steam whistle, and we all literally jumped. And Shelley was very close to it, so she had to cover her ears.
You're loud.
Yeah, they were very loud, weren't they? So it was kind of fun because it was very trainy. I mean, you really felt like you were in an 1890s train depot.
Even the engineers dress
Yeah,
fancy.
yeah. Yeah, and they're dirty. I mean, it looks like they just gotten off the train. They have coal dust on their faces.
And apparently, they shovel the coal,
Yeah,
and this is actually a working train that people can take training classes to learn how to operate this train. Kevin was looking into it. They offer these courses that you can learn to be one of the people who shovels the coal. You can learn to be the engineer. You can learn they call it a fireman. I guess the fireman is the one that shovels the coal and stuff. So, and are you going to tell them about the guy who owns it?
I am, but I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you another picture. I didn't realize it, but in that lower left-hand corner, that's my hand holding the stabilizer. Right. So Kevin must have taken this shot. Mm-hmm. So this is what I think of as the best shot of the day. Kevin took this one, and I wanted to make sure it was in the in our summary synopsis sampling. I don't know why I can't remember that word.
I don't know.
But this was, I thought, the best shot from the Osher part of our trip, and Kevin took that.
I'm not sure what they use that water tower for, because they didn't use it for the train.
I didn't see them putting water into it. I mean, the water tower is basically empty, so I don't know where they do get their water. So, as usual, we shot signage. We always do when we go on one of these trips. And I didn't put them all here. This was just one of them, because this is the sign that tells you where all the signs in the area are. And it explains everything in detail. So we shot all of the signs that were there. And again, you'll see them in our folder on our blog. But because we're focused on bears this week, Kevin shot this one on the black bear, Ursus americanus, which is the New Mexico state mammal, I think, not animal, state mammal. And it gives some information about black bears. We didn't run into any this time. We did have our bear spray. So this is that room, that building that I showed you earlier. This is where everybody comes for lunch. They serve lunch from the people on the train. And they
only take cash.
They only take cash. No cards
or check.
Well, let me tell what happened. So what happened was we were going in, and Shelley was looking at the menu, and somebody was coming out of the function, the location, and said to Shelley, they only take cash, just as kind of a courtesy to let her know. So we had actually brought our lunch with us. And so we really didn't need to eat, but we wanted to make sure we got the picture. And then I started getting kind of like, I really need to have that meatloaf.
Because it smelled good.
Because it smelled good and it looked good. And they only served 2 entrees, meatloaf or turkey.
No, they had more than that. They had a whole salad bar.
Well, I mean, besides entrees, meats, right? So the only meats they serve are meatloaf and turkey. So you have those 2 choices. Plus they do. I'll show you. Well, here it is. So that's where you load up. They have a complete self-serve salad bar. They have all these people working. Now, here's the fun part. So that guy over on the far right in the skirt.
It's an apron.
Oh, okay. Well, the guy with the bare legs over there, believe it or not, his name is Steve. We met another Steve. So Steve, I walked up to Steve and I said, I understand you only take cash. And he says, yeah, I'm sorry about that. But you know what? We're about to close up. Let me see, did I put the pies in there? Oh, I didn't put the pies in there. You'll see it again. You'll see the pies in the almonds. So he said, we're about to close up. If you folks would like some pie, a piece of pie and some coffee, just go ahead and help yourself. And I thought that was very gracious. And I said we would. And they had a nice selection of pies and cakes, desserts. Anyway, so I was talking to these guys about the pie option. And he walks up and he says, you know what? We're about to close up. Why don't you guys go ahead and have lunch? And you can just send me a check. And I thought, whoa, who trusts people with sending them a check anymore? So again, I thanked him for being very gracious, sending a check, feeding us lunch, although I don't think we looked hungry. And we had brought our own, and we had planned a picnic down in the area that we were headed to. So I thanked him very much and told him that we had brought our own food, our own lunch. But I didn't know how else to thank him. But it was just so nice because it started out with, just take a piece of pie and coffee, and by the end of it, it's if you want to have lunch, just send me a check.
And this room, you have those windows on that one side, and just a beautiful view out the windows. Did I get windows? Yeah.
Yeah. It's too much light coming in because I was exposed for the room. But yeah, the view there is beautiful because it just looks over the valley. And you can see the trains on the other side. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the first stop on our trip. We spent, as usual, way more time there than we had originally planned.
Yeah.
But it was just too neat to pass up. And like I said,
and we hit it just right. Trains were there.
Both trains came in at the same time. Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, you know what? I do need to go back to that one picture. So let me go back here for a second. Okay. So see this train number 315? There was a guy coming up in a Jeep from the direction we were planning to head. So I stopped him. I waved him down as he came up. And I said, do you require anything more than four-wheel drive to get down where you're coming from? Because there's only one road in that direction. And he said, no, not if you know how to drive a four-wheel drive. Like, oh, okay. But so he came up and he crossed. You have to cross the train tracks to go the direction that we were heading. And he came up, crossed the train tracks, and he got out of his Jeep. And he was probably in my age group, right? Maybe a little bit older. And he takes out this Canon D something. It was more than a D7. It was a huge Canon with a massive lens on it. And he starts shooting pictures of this train in the surrounding area. I got to clear my throat. You know what I think it is? It's the coffee.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so he starts taking pictures of this, and I guess Kevin noticed that the 315 symbol was on his hat. And then when he turned back to me, I noticed he had a 315 symbol on his shirt, embroidered on his shirt. So he stopped taking pictures long enough for me to ask, because my curiosity is always killing me, long enough for me to ask. I noticed that the 315 symbol is on both your hat and your shirt. Do you have a special interest in this train? And he said, oh, I'm one of the owners. We're like, what? So it turns out that there is a nonprofit organization of apparently really rich people who own the company.
They're a historical society.
Yeah, a historical society that own this train. And so they operate it. And they have a board of directors. They have voting members. They have people that work on the trains, people who provide food, et cetera, et cetera. And so I thought to myself, wow, what a great opportunity for an interview. So I turned, as you can see, I had my camera here, and I turned my camera to him and started to say, have you got time for an interview? And just at that moment, that train started heading east with a bunch of noise, and he was standing near the tracks and I was standing near the tracks, so I didn't get the interview. And he actually ran back across the tracks and got in his Jeep. Or he headed down towards a turn.
He had to go wherever the train was going.
Right.
He had to be there before them for some reason.
So because he was taking all these pictures, I guess to promotion. It was a beautiful day for shooting all these images. Anyway, so unfortunately, I didn't get the interview. I missed the interview, but it would have been fun to have had that interview. Okay, so that's the 3:15 train story. Let me go through, get back to where we were. Food, told you that story. Steve, and that's what the train looks like. And although it looks like it's heading west, it's actually heading east. This is the train that goes back towards Chama because it's going to go around that mountain. Apparently, the train, Tom Gregory, who's one of our viewers and one of our blog subscribers, let me know that this train crosses into and out of New Mexico and Colorado 11 times during the trip. So
have your passports.
you'll have your passports because you're going to visit New Mexico. Okay, so that ends part 2 of the story. So we're back to our what
Part
we
one.
thought. Part 1, right? No, that's part 2. Part 1 is the Southern Colorado scouting trip.
Oh, okay.
So we're back to the Southern Colorado, what at that time was not a scouting trip, not a recon. So we found this really good place to park, a place that we could stop and eat. Over the back of the truck was the valley where the river was, and we started making plans. We just started kind of looking around at this point because I knew that sooner or later I was going to want to launch the drone, and I wanted to make a decision how to use it at that point. I knew that I wanted some Shelley footage because, as you'll see, she's in her drone outfit, the yellow fluorescent orange hat and fluorescent orange yellow shirt, so that I can get her in the drone because I lost her once. I never forgave myself for that. So we found this beautiful place to park and started working from there. This was the view from the edge looking down upon the river. It was on the other side. The road continues on down the river. And so we were wondering, one of the points, and the reason we had considered this a scouting trip is because we had been looking at the gauge in Los Pinos. And we knew the water was, although lower than average, it was still a little bit high. So we didn't know if we were going to be able to cross it in the new truck. This is just some of the beautiful scenery along that river. And as a fisherman, when I see something like this and I see that little seam coming out after that rivulet, the only thing I can think of is huge brown trout. But it's not necessarily the home of brown. But there were, within the first 100 yards of the stream downstream, there were at least 5 or 6 places like this that, as a fisherman, you could go and you would pull brown trout out of there. It doesn't look like the kind of place they put stockers, is what I mean. So Shelley and Kevin were looking longingly at the other side of the river. And again, we're still trying to make a decision. And as you can see, in order to cross the river, you got to get down that road that's just behind them to get even to the point where you can ford the river. Well, just about that time, not about that time, we had noticed there were some folks on the other side of the stream. And if you recall, those are the same 3 Polaris ATVs that we had seen when we first arrived at Osher. So it became obvious to us at that point. Osher. I just did it, didn't I? So it became obvious to us at that point that it was a group. We didn't know how the group was formulated. There was, of course, adults and children. And that they had been at Osher probably to get lunch and then Osher. And then continue their trip. So they were already on the other side of the river. So
they were on the pretty side.
Yeah,
we were on the brown side.
Yeah, that
steep side.
What's that thing about that grass is always greener?
Well, it was.
It was definitely greener on the other side. So they were already over there, and looked like they were having fun, and it was obvious that they had crossed. So we were waiting just to see if anybody would get in where you can see where the ford is, just to give us a sense of how deep it was. Well, all of a sudden, the orange vehicle, and you can see it's almost to the top of their wheels in some locations, and he held over to the downstream side, started crossing. And he went up our side and continued on. He didn't stop. Then, all of a sudden, the blue vehicle, the blue ATV, starts crossing. And it was a little bit slower. They were being a little bit more cautious, I thought. And they were staying right in the center. And when they got to the center of the river, all their wheels were covered, and they were taking on a little bit of water. So that told us how deep it was. And we didn't think we were ready to do that. We were prepared to come back eventually anyway. But, so this person comes across. Remember, we don't know these people. We have no idea who they are. They don't have any idea who we are. It turns out that it's a woman whose name is Andrea. And Andrea says to us, as we're standing there, I came over to get you so you could go across to the other side of the river. I'm like, who does that? I mean, So Kevin had been exploring on the further down river, so we called him back. We all jumped in the ATV, and she took us down the river. And it was at this point that she decided to inform us that she had never done this before, that the other river crossing had been the first time she had ever driven, not the first time she had crossed the river, the first time she had ever driven this vehicle. So we're thinking, okay, this is going to be fun. I'm in the passenger seat and I'm hanging out the window with my stabilizer. We have video of what you'll see one day when I get around to editing it. And it holds 4 people. It holds it very comfortably. These things cost anywhere at a low end from $26,000 to $35,000. So it's like buying a car, apparently. Anyway, she takes us across. This is a shot that Shelley took with her as we were in the middle of the river. She took it with her iPhone. And then on the other side of the river, we meet Lane. And Lane is the guy that not only owns this particular ATV, he owns the other 2, and he owns 6 others. So he owns a total of 9 of these ATVs. So I thought he was a business person, that he was in the business. So he and I are starting to talk. We started having a conversation, and in the midst of that conversation, I ask him where he's from, and he says Albuquerque, and I say, "You're kidding?" And he says, "No, why? I'm not going to go through the whole conversation." Well, we're from Albuquerque. I said, "Well, I'm from Albuquerque, and they're from Rio Rancho," and he says, "That's where my business is, in Rio Rancho." It turns out his business is literally, you describe it because I don't know Rio Rancho well enough to do it.
It's about a mile away from our house.
Yeah. His business is a mile away from Shelley and Kevin's house. I mean, when he tells me that, my first reaction to it is, how do you explain that kind of coincidence? And he turns to me, and this guy is in my age group. He turns to me and he says, "This isn't coincidence. There's a reason for this happening. You believe that, don't you?" And I said, "Yes." And I really do. Don't know why it happened. Don't know why the coincidence occurred, but there had to be something about that meeting that's going to result in something else. And he said, they were talking on the other side, and at some point he turns to me and says, "Well, just feel like you can take advantage of me. And you probably shouldn't say something like that to me, because I will." And I say to him, "Well, would you do us a favor? There's an area we would like to explore on this side of the river, but we weren't planning to do it because we didn't feel like we could ford the river just yet." And he says, "Sure, where do you want to go?" So everybody jumps into the ATVs, and I start giving directions, all of these directions based on Google Earth, the GMAP 4. My thing's in GMAP 4. And so he's just like, "Where do you want to go? We'll go." And so he takes us up the road that I wanted to go. We saw other 4-wheel drive vehicles going up this road, so it's bumpy, but it's passable. As a matter of fact, I think you could do it in 2 wheels. You wouldn't have to load 4 wheels to do it. So he takes us over that. By this time, at some point, we realized that the others had either missed us or aren't following us, because we had to turn off that road. And so we head back, get them, and did I put a picture of them coming back? No, I didn't. Okay. So he's taking us overland, and by this time, we're off the road, and we're on a 2-wheel track that I knew existed because I had seen it on my maps, on GMAP 4. And as a matter of fact, I had a paper map of it. So I knew exactly where I was going, and I could give him directions. And he just followed them. He trusted me and just followed them. And again, I'm hanging out the far side trying to get a stabilized picture of the wheel rolling through the tundra kind of thing. So I was literally, I don't know.
And that's me taking a picture from the back seat.
Yeah.
Because you could see me in the rearview mirror.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. So I was giddy at this point.
Yes. He was woo, wee. He was like a little boy having a good time.
It was just amazing that this kind of thing could happen.
I felt like it was a ride at Disneyland kind of
well,
thing.
and these ATVs, if I could afford one, I would get one, because they literally go anywhere. I mean, it's just amazing how much performance they have in this kind of terrain. So that's where I wanted to head, and I thought, oh, interesting. There's a truck down there, and the truck it had dust on it, so it had come over this. I thought some of the roads that we had come, and I thought, So here are the two choices, or I guess three choices. He's a camper hiker, a fisherman, or a treasure hunter. And so I thought it was interesting that there was somebody there. Anyway, we went down, we got out, and we started looking around. That's the view downriver from that bluff that we were parked on. And that's where we need to be. We need to get down that river. Again, since this was a scouting trip, we weren't prepared to do anything else. And we were operating at the courtesy of Lane and Andrea, and we weren't about to keep them while we went effectively exploring. And so if you're going to ask me, well, what's that rule? If you know where the treasure is, you don't let anything stop you from getting it. We don't know where the treasure is. We have a partial solution, and we're working on it, and that's what we were doing here. But again, it's just beautiful country. Anyway, that gave me an opportunity to once again
recite the poem.
So we're looking down the river here, and Andrea asks, so what are you guys doing? And I tell her the story, and of course I have to, at that point, recite the poem from memory. And they stand there very patiently and listen to me recite the poem. So I don't give up on any opportunity. And what was funny, of course, is they didn't necessarily indicate any interest in the treasure hunt. You know, they seemed to be pretty okay with where they are in life and what they're doing. So, but it was just fun to be with them. And they had the kids were just amazing. The kids were just adorable, for lack of a better way to describe it. I got this shot when we were leaving in case I wanted to track this guy down.
Oh, in case that's one of our viewers, you can let us know.
Yeah. Oh, good point. So if that's your, what is it, Forerunner with New Mexico license plate 461 RTF, give us a shout out. Tell us what you were doing there.
Well, if it's one of our searchers, then we know what they were doing
there. Exactly. Yeah. So, and I wouldn't have guessed he was there fishing because the water was too high. Water was too high to be fishing. So then Lane asked what we wanted to do. At this point, it's getting later in the afternoon, and we had some other things that we had to accomplish. So he took us back across the river to the side that we were on. And then that's when, that's just a picture of Shelley looking like Shelley. Isn't she adorable? My partner.
Getting sunburned.
Oh, show him your sunburn.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Your farmer's tan.
It's not as red as it was a couple of days ago. So
yeah.
There on
I don't get sunburn. I just get brown.
I do get a.
Really
I was not expecting to be outside all that much because the last time we took this trip, we were outside for maybe half an hour.
Yeah,
so.
long enough to realize there was
Next
an
time,
iceberg.
I'm going to wear a lot more sunscreen instead of none.
So,
I had some on my face, but that was it.
And you got sunburn on the back of your neck too, huh?
Just mostly right here, and then a little bit on the arms.
But it wasn't enough sunburn not to have enjoyed the trip.
Oh no, it wasn't that bad.
So then we went back across to the other side. You can see the shadows are getting long. They're on the trees. I decided to launch the drone, and I wanted to do at least two things. Number one, I wanted to get some drone footage so that we could use in our outros, and I had Shelley do that, and that's part of the imagery. You can see the Ford back there in the background. And then the other thing that I did is I basically tracked the river down for about, I'm going to say, 1.5 miles, maybe 2 miles. And at that point, so one of the requirements for flying on a Part 107 license is you have to have at least one spotter. The PIC, the pilot in command, also has to have one spotter. So I'm looking at the monitor, right? So I don't actually see the aircraft. I can see how far away it is from me. I can see what altitude, because all that data, that downlink data is being passed on to me. But I'm not looking for the aircraft. That's why you have a spotter. So Shelley and Kevin were spotting for me. And all of a sudden, Shelley goes, Toby, and I didn't know, don't bother me. I got some great footage here. And it turned out they had lost sight. I had gone so far. And this drone, this Mavic Air,
it's about this big with some wings on it. And gee, all of a sudden we couldn't see it anymore. What do you think? I don't know. It's kind of weird, right?
So
we could see it when it was against the blue sky.
Right.
It was a little black dot. But then it went over where the backdrop was trees and rocks, and it just blended in.
And it just camouflaged.
We have no idea where it is.
We don't know where it is.
We can't see it.
And I'm just going like, no, I'm getting some great footage here. Don't bug me. Anyway, at some point, Shelley said, we can't see the drone. And I looked up, and of course, I couldn't see it any better than they could. And this particular model of DJI Mavic has something called Return to Home. And well, first
Thank goodness.
I started backing it up, and then I realized, no, I've got to turn it around to back it up. And at the moment I turned it around, I got the low battery warning, and it gives you two warnings. One is low battery, and you have enough to fly yourself home, right? And then the second warning is low battery, you hit return to home, and I'm going to get my butt back there as fast as I can. So I decided not to waste any time. I hit the return to home button, and I could tell by the data, the downlink data, that it was flying back to me. And after a bit, Shelley and
we could hear it. We're like,
right.
where is it? Where is it? Where is it?
And what happens when it does return to home? It goes
There
it
it
goes
is.
up to 400 feet,
Straight up.
and then it starts the run back, and it literally will land within 2 feet of where you took off from. So I hit the return to home, didn't lose the drone in the process, got some really great footage, and had a really good time with it. Got the footage that I wanted. So this is it coming back. This is where it was coming from and how high it flies. And you can see me standing next to the truck, Shelley and Kevin in the center of the picture, and my landing spot. I have a pop-up landing spot that it comes back to. So we got the drone back, and we got some great footage. And we may or may not share that footage with you. I'm still trying to make up my mind. I actually uploaded it the other night, but it was so good, I'm not sure that I want to share it. So we'll see. As we were leaving, we got this last shot of the canyon going upriver into Colorado, and it was just beautiful. I don't know how else to describe it. Just as serene a scene as you could imagine. And as we say, very Fenny. Struck me as very funny, didn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Oh.
So I took this picture in case one of my grandchildren ever asks me, Grandpa, what was a payphone? Because there was our payphone at Mogote Meadows. So that was our trip. It was a fun trip. It was an exciting trip. We had a great time with it. I'm going to change slides here first.
We had a good time, and we were expecting to get there and look around and then come home, and to get to go across the river unexpectedly and meet nice people and get to tell our story and hear their stories. And
well, and not only meet nice people across the river, but we met nice people over at Osher as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it really was.
It's true.
And the only, I don't want to say it's a disadvantage because it's going to sound selfish, but the funny little byproduct of all this is everything takes us longer, because we get interested in the people and what they're doing.
we wanted to take some footage for our videos.
Yeah. And like I said, we weren't planning to make this a recon. We were planning to make it a scouting trip, get some footage that eventually we could share with you. And so it wasn't planning to be a recon. The point at which it becomes a recon is when, what?
And we put my stuff in the treasure chest.
In the treasure chest, yeah.
The forest stuff.
So I'm going to make a transition.
Did you see
here.
I had a little piece of coal from the train station?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good. That'll all go into the diorama.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay, so.
And we can add a train. Make it like.
A chooch.
Yeah, I think we even have one at home. A train.
So I feel like we've solved the performance problems because OBS has been green the whole time and above 2300, 2500, 2600. So I think we're really good. I'm glad we made the decision.
Yes. I'm glad it was available to make that decision, to be able to do that. Because what we had just wasn't reliable.
So that was our story, and we're sticking to it. We had a good time. We will likely be back up there more than once before the end of the summer. And we're feeling really good about our solution.
And we're hoping that the fires don't get, off in that direction.
Yeah.
It's get some more rain.
Definitely a dry season for us. And that's going to cost sooner or later. Some of those, I'm afraid some of those other forests are going to close as well. So,
ready for chat?
Yeah, you ready for chat? So remember, we're going to start our chat, and I'm going to pop out of this screen and go to the chat room. But please remember, if you'd like to contribute to our project, please use the super chat icon on the bottom of the screen, and you can pay us through YouTube. and all your contributions go to my new project, which is to buy a Polaris ATV.
Maybe even a used one. Maybe,
maybe a used
Lane will want to sell
Polaris,
one.
yeah. So, but Lane and Andrea, if you end up watching this, Shelley and I want to tell you how grateful we were for the manner in which you treated, the very gracious manner in which you treated us. You made our day, period. You literally made our day. And we're very grateful for that. And we look forward to visiting with you again someday. Okay, so...
We're ready for chat.
Yeah, you ready to go to chat?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how do I need to make the... Transition to full screen?
Yes. And here we go. Whoosh.
Whoosh. It's called, it's called burst.
Burst. Whoosh.
That's the burst one.
I call it whoosh.
Okay. So go to chat, open up the screen. Okay, remember we can't see what's on screen right now.
Oh my goodness, lots and lots of chat. So we'll try to get through the hellos really quickly.
Yeah, get through the hellos and we'll go there.
Joel Lewicki is good afternoon from recently defrosted northern Minnesota. Recently defrosted.
Did you guys have a long spring, or is this just something that happened recently?
Cold. And Cindy Guess, hello. Jason Eunice is here, hello. Jimmy Fast, howdy. T.I. Mattis, hey. Rick Plank from Cincinnati is here. Stephen Marilat's back.
Hey,
good
Stephen.
To see you. Brian Eagle's here. Hello, Brian. Sludneck, howdy. Yes, we got Fester Webs. Lori James, Escaping the Hot Sun in Salida. Love Salida. Mm-hmm. Who was Jeep Girl Jody? Sent me an email and was telling me how much Salida means to her. So, and we love it. Steve Smitherman, hello. Brent Zunker from Austin, Texas.
Isn't Brian Eagle from Austin, Texas? You guys should talk with one another.
Yeah. The Blaze of Glory, Eric
You know
Hall,
what?
live from Texas.
Blaze of Glory. If I don't know how much you guys know about Lady Gaga, but I'm a big fan of Lady Gaga, believe it or not, and I love that song that she does, Blaze of Glory.
Oh, all right.
I can sing it for you if you'd like.
Let's just let Lady Gaga be the singer.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, Brian did connect with Smooth from Austin.
And Jazz Winters from Iowa. Love our mods. That's right, Tammy. Thank you. The Straight Mustard is here watching live from the Durango Public Library.
Oh, cool.
Oh, good for you. David Dow from Pacific Northwest.
Did I say hi to Jason? Hi, JJ.
Yeah, you did over the intro, in fact.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Jason was in Gallup this weekend at a arch fair with his sister at the Sacred Heart Church in Gallup.
And he got to stay at the El Rancho at the Jane Fonda room.
Oh, that's right. He did.
Yeah. And he had something on his Facebook about these boots are made for walking by Nancy Sinatra.
Nancy Sinatra.
Let's see. Jeremy Milstead's here. Hello. He wants to know if he gets 2 coins because he's a moderator and a team member.
Jason Eunice. You should know you get 1 coin. You get half a coin for being a moderator.
JK.
Half a coin for being a moderator and half a coin for being a team member.
Jackie Naden is here from the UK. We have another new person from the UK.
Jackie, keep an eye out for, let's see.
Oh my goodness, there's so many.
Paul Ammon.
Jono Jones. Paul Ammons is not from...
No, he's not.
No.
Jono Jones.
Adam Foddy.
So we have lots of people from the UK.
There's a few more, but I don't remember them all the time.
If you're from the UK, let Jackie know that you're also from the UK.
Yeah. Fenn Treasure Hunter. Gotta pay the bills. Okay. Sea Monkification.
So Fenn Treasure Hunter mentioned that I think he is doing a live stream, I think tonight at 7 p.m., just kind of a chat. So go by and visit him. Scrolling up to Sea Monkification. Go.
All right. Jimmy Fast wants a cookbook instead of a coin.
Oh, did you? That's because you bought a coin, I'll bet, Jimmy Fast. All right, if you're the subscriber who wins, I'll send you a.
You were going to send him a coin as a moderator.
Oh,
So he wants a cookbook instead
Oh,
of
I
a
see.
coin.
Is that what you were? Okay. Yes, I will send you a cookbook instead of a coin. Okay, so guys, that means I have another coin to give away sometime in the future since Jimmy Fast wants a cookbook.
All right. And Joel Lewicki says he's not going to compete because he already has a coin, so good luck to everybody else.
Oh, great.
Oh, and apparently some people are selling their coins on eBay,
We're not going to sell any of our
according
coins.
to Jason.
The coins, the last batch of 10 coins that I get will go to our Tuesday programs, giveaways on our Tuesday program to our subscribers. Journeyman's late, but made it in.
Yes. Gary Sandberg's here from Seattle. AGK, what's the drive train on those razors? Razors?
I think that's what they are, Jason. They are four-wheel drive. They use a, he didn't call it a centrifugal clutch, but there's technology in them. Yeah, there's technology. Every wheel not only operates from a independent suspension perspective, it operates from an independent power perspective. So whatever wheel starts slipping, the other wheel's correct. It's a fully automatic vehicle. You could tell that Lane had more experience with it than Andrea. As I said, it was Andrea's literally first time driving the vehicle, and that may be an indication of how easy it is because she drove us all, the three of us, back across that river.
Yeah, I think he just told her what gear to be in, and then she just went.
Couple of buttons up on front, looks very uncomplex to operate, but I was surprised to hear that they cost more than my recently purchased truck.
Yeah. Let's see. The Straight Mustard is saying that 550 is closed and only open during certain hours. Smoky all the way to Mesa Verde.
Wow.
Okay. Belva Jenkins is here from Chattanooga.
Wait. Straight Mustard, is that from a different fire? Or is that just smoke from the Ute Park fire?
Well, they're talking about fire in Durango.
Oh.
2 to 3,000 acres plus burning now in the Durango area.
Mm.
It's summer here already, isn't it? Well, hopefully we'll have a big monsoon season, lots of rain.
Yep, we're going to need it.
Yep. RF Heckey's here. Hello. Gage Cockerham from Libby, Montana. Dr. Brown's here from Colorado, I guess. I mean, he's been out traveling and working, but I know he lives in Colorado, so I'll just say that. And the Straight Mustard is appreciating Susan's YouTube videos. Steve Gahagan is here from steamy Nebraska.
Yeah, Nebraska is humid at this time of the year.
What?
I was going to say, Dr. Brown says, Jason, you're kind of worn out. It's been a busy 10 days or so. So it's nice respite.
Yeah. Paul Wood is here from Rio Rancho.
Ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Shelley, I've recently learned that any wildflowers are okay to pick as long as it's no more than a third. That way they have a chance to repopulate. Oh, Bill Blackburn. Interesting. I didn't actually pick any flowers. I did. I got a few little pieces of pine tree, different kinds. There was a few different kinds of Christmas trees up there. Douglas fir and
Juniper.
Is it juniper? Well, the one that puts out little here and there. I don't know which kind that is.
We're going to have to get a botanist on to have that conversation.
And a couple of rocks.
I know the difference between deciduous, which has leaves, and coniferous, which has needles. So.
And they do have a lot of aspen up in there. Really pretty.
Yeah, it was really pretty up there.
Mm-hmm.
What's neat about the road that we're on is that it's not improved. But there's camping spots all off the road. You can drive right off the road and go camping. Now, you've got to take everything in and out with you, including your water and your potty. But it's just beautiful up there. I'm going to go up camping when we're not doing this.
Joel Lewicki says, the camera cord story, that's why Lander is good grassroots America.
America, it is.
America.
Yeah, it was just one. But Joel, we have literally met those kind of people everywhere we have traveled, including this most recent trip. So, we always come back, whenever we come back with photographs and stories about the people that we met. I'm not even sure, I'm starting to think, well, Fenn's always saying it's the thrill of the chase and things like that, and the treasure is, you can find the treasure in a variety of ways. Part of the treasure that you're going to discover, if you go out of your way, I don't know that necessarily you have to go out of your way, but part of the treasure you're going to discover if you take the time is the people that you meet. Because it really is kind of fundamental America.
Charles Chapman. I hate it when locals mispronounce the name of their own town. What?
Versailles.
Versailles?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's like Beaner Vista.
Beaner Vista, the Colorado
Buena Vista.
have massacred Buena Vista.
Yeah. Hi, Michael Bruno's here. Sorry he's late. That's okay. Better late than never. Prescott in Arizona. Prescott? Prescott. Well, he can say it either way.
Did you see Jason?
Prescott.
Trainee? Really, Dad? Fenny, Trainee. The brothers at St. Mike's
Pierre,
are rolling over their
Pierre.
respective graves.
Fenny, trainee. Yeah, I like that. Missouri. Mispronouncing town names is a favorite Midwestern pastime. Oh, Cairo, Nebraska, pronounced Caro.
Oh, so Steve Gahagan says, no, I'm sorry, Journeyman says, I came close to taking that train in 2013. Didn't you talk about them giving away?
Right now KOB is giving away train tickets. I posted it on my
blog?
Facebook page. I don't think I couldn't post it on a Gypsy's Kiss. It wouldn't let me or something. So.
Oh, Gypsy, the WordPress doesn't do the post a page thing real well.
Yeah.
It's just you end up looking at a link.
But yeah.
So if you collect a picture from it.
KOB 4 in New Mexico is giving away train ride tickets on the Cumbres and Toltec.
And they're pretty good. They don't just give away one set; they give a bunch of them. And you can go to the KOB website and apply on there. So if you're headed towards northern New Mexico, and you want to take that train ride, you see if you can get some tickets from.
And Joel Lewicki says heavy loads and water high.
Yep.
Water
trains.
tower and the heavy loads. Yep. Maybe. What?
The straight mustard. I am from
Hoga.
Cuyahoga County, Ohio, and no one knows how to pronounce that. Apparently, I just messed it up too. So.
Possibly. Why Must I Go is here. Oh, look, we got a couple of super chats. I just noticed. 20 pounds and $5.
I'm not going to move that down. I'll check it out here.
Just
So
touch 'em.
$5 from Scott K. AGK has your warm water salt, where warm water salt change. I know some others have visited the Cumbres and Toltec. Warm water's in mine. That has nothing to do with fishing regs. Scott, what I can tell you is that we are still using the New Mexico fishing regulations. I can't give you more detail than that because we'd start giving away a lot of our solution. But yes, we are still using the New Mexico
And
State.
as we've talked about in other videos, where warm water's halt using the fishing regulations still means you could still look in at least 8 different places in New Mexico.
Yeah. We've reduced those 8 places to 3, I'd say. But yes, we are still using that. It has not changed to trains. And this looks like Jono because it's pounds. Jono Jones. Hi, Jono. And he said he got his package, right? Last week?
Yeah, I think you said that, yeah.
Won't be able to join TRW. Could someone ask question for me? What advice would you give to a family of 4 with a 6-year-old and a 10-year-old with regards to bears up in Yellowstone, going up creeks in the small valleys, trees either side may stumble across? Yeah, Jono, there's a couple of things. Number one, I posted an article to our blog this week from Chris, who had been up there and had stumbled into a couple of bears. For a 4-year-old and a 6-year-old, it's additional caution because they're small and they look really edible. But what I'm going to recommend, I'll tell you what. Oh, that's what he was saying. He can't be at the panel.
Right.
Okay, I will make sure, Jono, that I ask that question at the panel so that we can hear Dr. Smith answer it for you. Sorry, I misinterpreted that. It's not a question I'd be comfortable answering. So, but Dr. Smith, I'm sure can. So I'll make sure that. Jono, do me a favor, please, and just send me that question via email so I can make sure that I ask it tomorrow night. Because it's not going to, it doesn't last on here. Eventually, the super chat goes away.
But thank you for their
But
contribution.
thank you, both of you. Thank you both for the contribution and the question.
And I said, why must I go? Troy is here.
Hey, Troy.
Charles Chapman, I
By
guess.
the way, Troy, I love the work that you're doing with the sentence diagramming. And I don't know whether I left a question on one of them. I'm curious to see how it would change if, not that I'm asking you to do more work. I actually tried to use something online. I paid for it to diagram, and I realized the problem is you have to remember grammar before you can use a diagrammer. I thought it was the kind of automated tool where I could feed it something and it would draw out the diagram. It's not. You actually have to know something about it. And there's a, I don't know, 130-page manual that explains how to do it. I don't have the time. But what I was curious about is whether or not you've considered diagramming the 9 complete sentences in the poem and see what happens with that. Let me know if you do that. Yeah, Caro, pronounced like the syrup.
Well, the straight mustard says, then there is Tesuque in New Mexico, which I think you missed a U in the middle of Tesuque, right? It's Tesuque, isn't it?
Tesuque, yeah.
Yeah, she's missed a U in the middle
Oh.
between the S and the Q.
Tesique. Tesuque.
He's
You have to say it in Spanish with a,
with a Native American accent.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Ah, that's good.
Scrolling.
Toby cannot reasonably call anyone barrel legs. Pot calling the kettle black issue there.
Yeah, who said
What? No, your son.
that? No, I'm always teasing Jason because he's the only person that is as barrel-legged as I am. Apparently, it runs in the family.
You haven't seen Kevin's legs?
Oh yeah, he's pretty
Yeah.
bow-legged.
But that's okay. You guys are solid. So
Yeah.
if you're crossing that river, you're not going to get
You're not going to get
washed away. The meatloaf. Everybody wants the meatloaf.
Oh, Jimmy Fast, you're like me. I love in Spanish they call it the huejita, the little head, but I love the end of meatloaves and prime rib, or actually ordered in a restaurant.
Eric Schmidt is here.
Wait a minute. Where did the conversation about barrel legs?
Just Jason. I don't know.
Did somebody say something about my picture?
You must have said something.
Oh, okay.
Oh, about the guy in the apron.
Oh, okay.
Barrel. You
right.
said bare legs, and
Bare
I think he thought you said barrel legs.
Oh, okay, okay. Mom, the meatloaf. Oh, you know what we're doing? We're reading, of course, when they were going through the
Right, when we're looking at the
Luna.
Luna Rock in Los Lunas. Is there a Luna Rock in Los Lunas?
That's up on that mountain. Remember the mountain that they climb where the cross is? Didn't we hear the story from Mike Gaba? That's Luna Rock.
I don't remember. What
315
river?
years.
Lori James wants to know what river is that?
It's a river that goes between Colorado and New Mexico.
Commandment Rock.
Scrolling down.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using Jason's my target there. So, okay, go.
Asset Marketing's here. Anyone considered an Anasazi Indian granary for the secret place below the blaze of a petroglyph of a frog in a canyon wall? Sure. Where's that at?
I think the challenge is a lot of those places are either going to be south of Santa Fe or west of the search area. I mean, if you've ever been to Mesa Verde or Chaco Canyon, you'd say to yourself, boy, there's a million places to hide it here. But A, it's not very fenny. and B, it's out of the search area.
Alan Kay shared a quote from Albert Einstein with us. Coincidence is God's way of remaining anonymous.
Interesting.
That's nice. Mary Green's here. Slowing down to see the details always yields rewards.
Yeah.
Gary Sandberg.
Gary Sandberg wrote that.
Well, he didn't quote some. He didn't write
very
that.
nice.
Somebody else said it, so I'm guessing
Well,
he said
that's
it.
how we are. I think being a photographer, one of the nice things about being a photographer is that you end up looking at the small things, the less noticeable things, just because they always have potential for photographic art. But in the process, you pick up a lot of other things that you might not. And that's why we got used to the idea of shooting signage. It's not the best and most artistic photograph in the world, but now you have that signage, and you can spend time with that, reviewing it at a later time to see if there's anything there.
Jeep Girl Jody's here.
Hi, Jeep Girl. Hi, Jody.
Lori James, high elevation sunburn. Yes, we were at a high elevation for sure.
Yeah.
You really notice it when you're walking up and down the little hills there. They seem like much bigger hills when you're doing the high elevations.
Yeah, we were in an altitude where not that we got short of breath, but you could tell as you're navigating your way on the hills. And again, one of the measures we use is if I can do it, then it is likely that Finn could have done it. And it requires, a relatively good pace and solid breathing and at least some exercise. So, but if I can do it, I feel like anybody can do it.
Well, anybody. I mean, you're in okay shape.
Yeah.
But, an 80-year-old man has to be able to do it.
Yeah.
So if you can't do it, then an 80-year-old man can't do it.
Definitely.
1061 shot. Where warm waters halt, is it true that only 2 people have solved that clue? Eric Schmidt says no. Do you want to add to that?
No, well, he's never given specific numbers, and he's never said, what he said is that some people have solved the first 2 clues and then went right past the treasure. And I'm not quoting specifically, that's a paraphrase, but he's never said specifically that the warm water clue has been solved. For all they know, for all he knows, they could have walked right past that clue as well. They just happened to be in the area and told him they were in the area. So I've never heard him be that specific about who's seen it or who's been close and who hasn't. What he said is searchers have been within 200 feet. Some searchers have been within 200 feet, and these are what we use. Some searchers have been within 200 feet, and lots of people have been within 500 feet. That's the couple of lines that we use as the basis for our solutions.
See, Monkeyfication says, so your solution could potentially be in Colorado now, not New Mexico? Depends on which side of the river we're on.
No. Our solution is still a New Mexico solution. Now, we're giving it all away. Before you know it, you guys are going to be looking. We'll see you up there looking in
That'll be your truck we're taking pictures of.
Scrolling up. Okay, let's see if I can do this without... I want it bounced up.
Yep. Exarban is here.
There's Jonah. Lost it again.
Oh, there. It's this one.
Okay. All right.
All right. Nice images and story of the trip.
Thank you, Mary Green. We had a great time. Just a great time.
Great pictures. If you want to say, what are the clues you feel have matched your area so far?
Begin at where warm water salt and take it in the canyon down.
Yeah.
That's as far as we are in Nepal.
Which is pretty much what you can find on the map.
Which is why we end up seeing so many why we've been on 29 recons.
And Troy says, find a rotary dial payphone. Ha ha ha. Great pictures and story.
Oh, that was a push-button phone, wasn't it? Yeah, rotary dial payphone, and show it to a kid today and say, use this.
They wouldn't know what to do with it. Where do I put my thumbs?
Yeah. Jim, it was a great trip. We just had a great time. I can't tell you how much fun we had.
Ramblin' Pam. Sounds like a great trip. Wonderful pictures.
Thank you.
BJ Chambly. Great looking trip. Pretty country. It really is.
Laurie, it's beautiful country. Very Fenny.
Jason says, picturing a flatbed trailer with a razor behind the new truck. You could store the razor at my place when you aren't using it.
I'll bet I could.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. Having just purchased a truck, getting into a $26,000 to $30,000 investment.
We talked about it.
we did talk about it.
But then we're like, well, the guy said take advantage of him. Why should we buy our own?
But I can tell you there was no road up there that we're on that gets us to our launch point, our jump-off point, that I don't feel comfortable going in my truck.
As long as the water's down.
As long as the water's down. That would have been the big issue for this trip. But we know that it's going to go down as the summer continues. And it's going, it isn't a high water this year anyway, because the gauge is showing us that it's way under averages. We did see later on in the evening, as we were doing some drone work, we did see that truck use the road on the far side of the river, which the Forest Service marks as four-wheel drive only. He was going up that other side and headed back into New Mexico. So we did see him do that. I should point out that he stopped halfway up one of the switchbacks, and he got out of the truck, and he looked like he was scoping us out too. So that's why I think he may be a treasure hunter.
Jason wants to know, what did you learn from the trip toward your solve?
We learned...
Or solution.
Jason, we learned
and he makes fun of the word Fenny.
Yeah. Don't make fun of Fenny and Trainee if you're going to use solve. We learned that it's plausible, that our solution is plausible.
But we're going to go back.
But we're definitely going to go back.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice. We have to go back. And we need to spend some time up there.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So a little vacation time up there. Coming up soon. And Jazz Winners, we need to take a ride on the train. Yes, we do. And I'd like to. But then I was seeing some things that were like, oh, that could be a little scary. There was a part where the rocks were all like scree, and then there's the trestles, and then there's the track right up against the mountain. So, you know, if you could be hanging out over the edge. I mean, like, ooh, no.
yeah.
That looks a little woo.
There's a little woo-woo in there, spiritualness. But like I said, there was that four-wheel drive Forerunner in exactly the spot that's our launch-off point. And he came from the harder side, the New Mexico side of that road. It's New Mexico, Forest Road 74, is a much more difficult road. So I'm comfortable that the New Frontier will do it fine.
Instead of having to get a Jeep, like Jeep Girl Jody.
True. Mary Green, if you do have a question for Dr. Tom, make sure you email it. Jono, if you're still watching and you didn't see the earlier part, mail me your question so that I can ask Dr. Tom for you tomorrow night. I know in the UK you're going to be fast asleep.
Jason says, I just realized the drone is almost identical color to Air Force Air Superiority Invisible Gray. Maybe some reflective bright paint.
I have already considered, so it's actually red on the top. I should take it out and show it to you.
You have to remember, it's only this big. And then it's got little prop thingies on the sides.
The problem is even
it's that small.
Even with the legs, the spider legs that put out the props, the damn thing is that big. I mean, the last the one that I owned before this was a Phantom 3, and it was big and white, and you could see it off in the distance. This one, you've got to use your downlink data and a spotter for as much as you can, and then of course we were heading down a canyon. I'll tell you what, I've been hesitant to post that video. There's a video that I'll post this afternoon. It's actually already uploaded. I'll release it this afternoon. It's called El Río del Tesoro, the River of the Treasure. And it's just the footage that I shot down with a little background music. There's no voiceover, there's nothing. I'll share it with you. And you can see the kind of area that we were in. And then I tried to back out of it and realized I can't back out. I mean, I could fly it back out if I got enough altitude, and at that point, the return to home button was just an easier choice.
Cindy Guest says, beautiful area. When you recited the poem, although they didn't show interest, did Andrea or Lane have any insight?
They didn't, and
although Lane did say he knows all the roads up in that area.
Right.
He's got property up in Sheep's Head or something like that.
Osher Peak, below Osher Peak.
Osher.
Peak. He's got a place up there.
In the Sheep's Head area. Anyway, so he's got a second home up in that area,
Yeah.
so he knows the roads, and we have his contact information, so we can always contact him for further information about that area. But no, they didn't have any ideas about, how the poem fit the area.
But they were very patient with me as I recited the entire poem from memory. With
No, you left the end off.
dramatic movements, as I have gone alone in there. And with my treasures bold.
Get learn it in sign language now.
Yeah.
So I can do that while you're doing this recitation. I think we're at the bottom.
No, we are not at the bottom. Oh,
No,
you mean
I
at the
mean-
bottom of this page?
Yes.
Okay, so keep
Move
an
up to
eye,
Jason,
tell
up
me
to the
what-
top there.
Right there.
Yes.
In a blaze of glory. No, Jason, you have to listen to Lady Gaga's Blaze of Glory.
So
And if you do the version on YouTube where she was in, what's that shock jock? Longtime shock jock. The guy with the-
Howard Stern.
Howard Stern. She did it live on Howard Stern's show, and there's a YouTube video. If that doesn't touch your heart, nothing will. You're as cold as me.
We know that's not true. The Straight Mustard says Durango to Hermosa, Colorado is on fire currently. Mesa Verde can see smoke from all fires going from Utah, Arizona, New Mexico, and Colorado.
Wow. Is Mesa Verde closed? The Straight Mustard? If you get a chance to answer that.
Lori James says, love the cookbook. Yum, and thanks, Jason, for the tin bird and Sean for the plaque.
Oh, did you
Nice
get them?
gift.
Good. Thank you for letting us know, Lori. I hope you enjoy it. Try some of the recipes. They're just lots of fun. I would still, so Jeep Grill, so yeah, you shouldn't have any problems. The guy that I told you, the story that I told you about the 315 train, the guy that said he was owner, he was in a Jeep Wrangler with a rollover bar on it, but it honestly, it looked like it had just come out of the showroom.
And I think the fire in the Pecos is 100% contained,
Yeah,
right?
fire in the Pecos is 100% contained, but the state forest is, I'm sorry, the national forest is still closed.
Yeah.
It did some damage.
Jazz Winters wants a coin. Me want coin.
Jazz, this is not a guess. You're going to have to be spot on to get this answer.
Spot on. Bill Blackburn says, Toby, it's called limited slip differential.
Well, based on the 26,000 at the bottom end price tag, for its size, it's got a lot of technology in it. I was impressed with it. I had actually never been in one. Never been in the Polaris before. I have been on ATVs, but this one was just amazing in the way it handled. Just beautiful, and literally could go over any terrain.
Steve Gahagan wants to know, when is monsoon season there? It's pretty much from the 4th of July to the end of August,
Right.
wouldn't you say?
Yeah, that's about right. That's kind of when we expect it.
As most of the Southwest is that way as well. Axarbin says the treasure was found this weekend. Did you find it?
No,
Did you find it, Ryan? Ryan, did you find it?
treasure was found this weekend, huh? Oh, by the way, like he says, oh, by the way, everyone, the treasure was found this weekend. Well, make sure to tell them to contact us so we can interview them.
Great footage from the drone. Ah, can't wait to see that video you made.
Yeah, just take a look at the video. It's not, well, you'll see some of the videos in upcoming outros because that's how I use the footage that I do with Shelley. But you'll see a lot of footage in that one short video called El Río del Tesoro this afternoon. What? Did I spit on you?
Make sure you say it with the Troy says, I have the same experience every time I was boots on the ground. I met interesting people. They go out of their way to help sometimes.
I really do. And, you know, and when you tell them, I don't know that whenever we told them what we were doing, they look at us like we're crazy. They actually indicate an interest right up until you start boring them to death with your 28 recons to that point. But we've gotten very good about kind of finding out about them. And again, our experience is that just everybody treats us so kindly and, you know, goes out of their way. I don't know that we've ever been on a trip where we didn't feel like, wow, that we met someone that, you know, helped us or gave us something or provided us something or made an offer. You know, it's always something in a good way.
Yeah, positive attitude helps that happen more, I think, than anything else.
Yeah.
All the way up.
Yeah, the straight mustard, that's right. That was contained right away. It was caught right away. It was a lightning strike, I guess, and somebody caught it right away. Going up to
Jason?
Bill Blackburn. Did you get Bill? Great footage from the drone. Right there.
Awesome videos. Been working boots on the ground later this month.
Did I answer Scott K's question?
I don't know. Yeah, I think you did. Yes.
Yes. No, Scott, we're still with the fishing regulations.
And thank you for the super chat. Oh, Ryan was just kidding. He didn't find the treasure.
Cindy, we shared him in a video that we did sometime last year where we said these are the 8 places that we've thought as possible in New Mexico.
I think it was the treasures in New Mexico, full stop. One of them, maybe that was it.
I don't know, but it's out there. It's definitely out there.
There's your treasure hunt. Find that video.
Have another treasure hunt.
We even wrote it on the screen where we had determined that to be. Jono says he will do.
Okay, good. Jackie says she just got back from Yellowstone. Didn't see any bears.
Jason apparently already emailed Jono's question to you. So
oh, great.
Now you'll get it 100 times.
Super. Thanks, Chase.
Why must I go? I did the sentences in the poem first, then organized them by stanza. By the way, I put up stanza 4 today. Tools I used, Drew
Draw
free, and some lexical parsers at Sanford University. Sanford or Stanford?
Stanford. Yeah, like I said, I invested in some company that does this for a living, science something, and realized I just don't remember enough about my grammar or sentence breakdown to do it. So I'm going to cancel my subscription.
Oh, and Jackie said she just came back from Yellowstone. Didn't see any bears.
No bears.
It was hard going in the forest if you went off trail.
Yeah.
That's one of those safety tips.
Oh, he corrected
tips
it.
Is to
Stanford,
stay.
he did correct it. So.
One of those safety tips: stay on the trails. What restaurant were you talking about that had the meatloaf? Oh, that's the eating house at Osher Station.
At the big eating house at Osher Station, where the Cumbres and Toltec. If you want to, there's 2 ways to get there. You got to drive up there, or you have to take the train from either Chama or Antonito to get there. That's where the meatloaf is, and apparently it's world-class meatloaf. I'm kind of sorry.
It's a beautiful view too as you're eating. So, very, very nice. I mean, if you just want to see the country and take a cool train ride, the Cumbres and Toltec is the way to go. Well, I haven't been on the train yet, but hopefully
somebody
someday.
keeps suggesting we do it, but I don't know what it gets us. It gets us to we can drive to.
It's
where
just
we
a pretty place.
Yeah, it is.
Just a cool thing to do. Can you smell the meatloaf from Treasure River?
I don't know.
I didn't.
I think you
We
could. I
didn't
don't-
smell it
no.
from where we were.
No,
further down
all
the
we got
road.
was fresh. We got this, what does Fenn say? The smell of fresh sunshine.
I hadn't seen this name before. Salty Grandpa.
Oh,
Browns Canyon is my location for many reasons. Well, we've been there.
yeah, we've been there,
also
Salty
beautiful.
Grandpa. If you look at our blog at gypsykiss.com, click on the photo albums, and you will see a photo album from our Browns Canyon Recon.
Chris
So maybe
Baxter.
some of those pictures, if you haven't been there already, some of those pictures will help you.
Chris Baxter says, when hiking with small children, keep them between the adults and have the lead person control the group.
Yeah.
Ring a bell, stop, look, and listen often, and
Bear spray, fore and aft.
bear spray.
Means in the patrol leader and the patrol tail. Also, it was interesting. There's Chris. That is Chris. I was going to say, Chris Baxter was the one that wrote me that email that I posted to our blog about his experiences. And normally, when people say bear bells, they're talking about those little silver tinkle bells. Chris takes a cowbell.
Cowbell.
Give us more cowbell.
Wait,
You got
that's
some
another
cowbell?
program. Hang on.
Oh, my
More
God.
cowbell.
All right. So Chris takes a cowbell and he shakes it.
It was kind of.
More cowbell. Okay.
That's my favorite part.
Christopher
Walken.
Walken.
That's right.
A perfectly identifiable accent.
He puts his pants on one leg at a time, but once he has his pants on, he makes gold records.
Is that where that quote comes from?
Yes,
Oh, I didn't
that's
realize
Skip from Saturday Night Live.
Okay, so scrolling down, I think Jackie Nieder, that's it from there down.
Okay.
Joe Licky.
John Polasic is here. What are your thoughts on Forrest saying he took the treasure in a sedan?
It would have had to be, if the solution is the same as ours, it would have to be a 4-wheel drive sedan, which is, I don't think.
And the
is-
water would have to be pretty low.
Yeah.
Depends on the time of year you go.
Here's the deal. Here's what we discovered about this particular area that we hadn't actually considered prior to this, and that is how underpopulated it was. You have to find an excuse to go. You're not going to take a picnic there. You're not going to go on an afternoon fishing trip there. You're going to drive 3 hours from Santa Fe, get in there, spend your 4 or 5 hours there, and drive 3 hours back. And you're going to go to a place that provides a certain amount of solitude after you get off the 4-wheel drive fire roads. Okay, that's what impressed us about this area. AGK, never feel sorry for a man who owns a train. Man, no, we didn't look like the kind of guy.
Ron Leake, what is the chance of the treasure being on private property? In our opinion,
Zero. Yeah, private property, anything on private property, regardless of how it's covered, how it's done, whatever it is, having been a private property owner before, belongs to the property owner. You
And that's since Bible times. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a Bible story
That's-
about somebody finding a treasure on private land, and then he saved up all his money to buy the land
Yeah.
so that he could have the treasure. And that's what you have to do.
that goes back to the Magna Carta, the the basis for all our laws today. Is it the Magna Carta? 1066. What is it? The basis for all our lawmaking today, which was based on property ownership, and basically what is on the property belongs to the property owner. And so it would have been crazy for Fenn to have buried it on private property with the expectation that you were going to be able to walk away from it.
Yeah.
zero.
Jono Jones says, my solve is like a map with one final stretch until you see the blaze. There is another route to the final stretch. I think we'll cheat first. I've heard of that. And we thought about that too.
Yep.
Salty Grandpa, going to Colorado to check out Browns Canyon later this month, and we plan on searching just east of Browns
Canyon.
Creek. This will be my first time going out and searching. What do you think?
I think you've got a good plan, and I think you should look at our photos, the album, the Browns Canyon photo album that we published last year. Was it last year that we went?
Yes, and if
And-
you have the chance to go rafting there, they have a wonderful. They have a couple of really wonderful rafting tours that you can take. A lot of fun.
Yeah, the rafting has nothing to do with a treasure hunt. Rafting
No,
is just
it's
a
a
complete
fun thing to do
And
while
if
you're
you
there.
get into Salida, you'll probably stay in Salida. Salida is a
Or
wonderful
Buena
town.
Vista.
Some people like Buena Vista. I like Salida. Salida's
Yeah.
a great town.
Once
yourself a
you've been
favor
to
and stay in
Salida,
Salida.
you just don't want to go anywhere else.
What was the Brown Canyon Hotel we stayed in?
Something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Brown's Canyon Hotel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go there.
No matter whether you find the treasure or not, you're going to have a great time.
Yeah, it's a wonderful place.
And Jason says another thought is that a razor could take you places Forrest Fenn couldn't go in a sedan, effectively leading you off the hunt.
That is true. We don't. I can't imagine. So what I'm about to state is pure opinion. If I was going to hide a treasure worth $2 million that I wanted to put it in 1,000 years, I'm not going to put it in a place that I get to in a Cadillac, right? Because if I get to it in a Cadillac, that means I've never gotten off the asphalt, and if I had, it's going to be maintained roads. Anytime you go looking for that treasure, it's going to be safer to have a four-wheel drive car. You may go in a sedan, but you're not going to hide a treasure that's going to last 1,000 years in a sedan.
Joel Lewicki says, we have a request here from the online community to have you quote the poem from memory.
Wow. Oh, wait a minute.
You really want to sit through that?
No. You know what he's doing? That's a line from Moby Dickens.
Oh, okay.
Jay Moore, remember?
Okay.
Jay Moore asked Forrest, and he blew it because he couldn't remember the last stanza.
Well,
He didn't blow it. I shouldn't say that. I'm not sure that I could remember the last stanza.
sometimes you forget.
As I have
People
gone,
forget stuff.
I'm going to recite it. You're going to tell
No,
me
you
the last
know,
stanza.
no. You know what? Make a separate video of that. We'll both do it. How about that?
Okay. But we have a request from the online community.
Yeah. The local community says,
Yeah.
nah,
Nah,
let's pass on that. Everybody knows it by heart already.
Let's.
Straight Mustard says, Mesa Verde is still open, but air quality warnings around southwest Colorado.
Don't remember the 135 rule. Remember the 135 rule. So if your visibility is limited to 1 mile, be inside and in conditioned air. If it's 3 miles, don't stay out longer. I don't remember the rules. Look up the 135 mile smoke inhalation rule, whatever that is.
Heather Guillen, Guillen.
Guillen.
Does the ATV owner rent out these vehicles?
He doesn't, unfortunately, Heather, and I'm actually surprised because he claims that he owns. Well, he didn't claim. He said, and I believe him. He owns 9 of them. And I
In a
asked
barn.
him.
He puts them in a barn.
And I asked him,
has a good time with them.
why do you own 9 of them? And he says, I have a big family. And he's right. He does have a big family.
Let's see. John Gould. Probably take my little Honda side-by-side with me to Colorado next week. It's fun to drive, even though I realize I probably don't need it to find the cache.
Agreed. We do not think that you need an ATV to get to your launch point, wherever it is. We don't, it was just fun.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of fun.
It was serendipitous. Steve Gahagan also loved the cookbook, The Tin Horse. Thank you, Jason, and the San Pasquale etching. Thanks Sean for me, and thank you, Toby and Charlie. Great show. Well, thank you.
Our pleasure. We're glad we could.
Edward Owen, Boise, Idaho. Been listening in the car. Just got home. Hi. we appreciate that. We actually were listening to Sean Dodson the other night on our way home from our Recon.
Yeah, when we hit Espanola, when we finally got signal in Espanola.
And he was doing his live show on YouTube. Let's see. JL just got back from Boots on the Ground and saw many bears with cubs all in the Yellowstone area. Heather Guillen says, does the owner of... Oh,
You just read that.
Just a re-ask, okay. And JL says, my areas were all filled with snowpack and raging rivers. Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, you've got to be further north than we are.
Aren't bells the way to identify
Grizzlies?
Because they eat the bear bells. They eat you with the bear bell, and then you know
and then you can
because
see that
the
I get
bell
it.
passes through them.
I did post, Chris, who's already on here, I did post 2 pictures that he sent us one of a grizzly scat and the other of a grizzly print. And my only regret, because I know how big they are, my only regret is he didn't put something next to the grizzly print to give you an indication of how big their paws are. They're huge.
Jay Minnesota says, the last few days I've been looking over lower Colorado, New Mexico near the dry Cimarron River, and there are way more canyons than I ever expected.
There are, you know what, Janet, I'm not going to talk anybody out of a search. I've been in that area. It is dry, ugly, high desert. It is just...
And they're closed right now, aren't they?
No, that's because that's out of the Cimarron area. She's talking about that area east
Far
of
east.
Cimarron as you come off the eastern slope and down into that, and it turns into a high desert, salty, saline, gypsum.
You can see that in that video that, what's his name? The guy we had on the show 2 weeks ago? The guy who made the video crossing from Florida.
Mark. Ugh. How come I can't remember his name? Mitchell. No. Just look at the guy.
Yeah, Mitchell.
Look at the video. Look at the video from the guy
Sorry,
that we had on our show 2 weeks ago.
Senior
Sorry.
brain. He made a
that's my
video
excuse.
of that area. They were driving from Lubbock to Cimarron, and they go
Right.
through that area, so you can see it on their video.
Yeah, it's one of my first interests in terms of Recon was that area because it fit a lot of things. But I got there, and it's not a pretty part of New Mexico. If you're searching for dinosaur bones or something like that, it would be okay. But because a lot of that stuff is found eastern New Mexico, but it's not pretty.
What if Forrest owns the private property secretly? Well, anything's possible, I guess.
No, it's not on private property. I don't care how many times you configure it. It's not on private property, whether owned by Forrest Fenn or Jesus Christ himself.
Adventurer wants to
I
know.
apologize for that. What's that?
You done?
I'm sorry.
Okay. Adventurer wants to know, just curious, if Jason isn't with you, if you guys find it, does he still get a cut, or how do you have that worked out?
We have it worked out. You can be assured.
I imagine Toby's going to be sharing with all of his children.
We have it all worked out for everybody. You girl.
Sometimes we do, so we can fall asleep thinking about the treasure and hope to dream about it. IDK who? Just because you said that, I'm going to go get it in a Cadillac.
You know what? Let me see. You could get to Osher in a Cadillac. Osher. And then you'd have to walk some distance. But yeah, you could get there. You could go get it in a Cadillac. You'd have to carry the damn thing back to Osher when you got it. But
Salty Grandpa, the thing is, most of your pictures look like they're from the southern part of the canyon. Is that true, or are those pictures from all over that area?
they are from both sides of the canyon.
There's a lot of little canyons in there.
Yeah.
You saw the pictures. There was like...
The pictures going in are from the northern side of the the canyon, but the pictures that we took were from both sides.
Four-wheel drive sedan, Mary Green suggests.
Well, you can be a sedan. A sedan is a way to describe whether or not you have a center pillar or not. A coupe does not have a center pillar. A sedan has a center pillar, and that's how my father described automobiles. It was either a coupe or a sedan. It didn't matter whether it was a station wagon. My mother drove a Ford Falcon station wagon, but to my father it was a sedan. I think that's a description of vehicles by someone who comes from that time.
Yeah, I think it's just a four-door vehicle, isn't it?
Well, it's four doors, but it has a pillar. It has a center pillar. That's the difference. I had a 53 Chevy that was a coupe. A two-door coupe, but coupe.
Coupe de gras. Salty Grandpa, you feel free to ask as many questions as you like, and we're happy to answer them.
That's right.
Chris Baxter wants to know, did you get the pic of the wolf track I sent you? That was impressive. Wolf track.
I did. I didn't know what to do with it, Chris. I was considering it. I need to make a different piece because the the one blog post that I made was very much specific to the grizzly bears. But yeah, that was an impressive pick. So I don't mean to give you, this is not even constructive criticism, but whenever these pictures are so valuable, I believe, whenever you take them, put something down next to them so we can get a sense of the size. Because especially in that bear pick, it's a beautiful pick and it's well rendered because it was in the mud. But it's difficult to tell the size. And I think when people see something next to it, like a pen or a pencil or something, a coin, you get a sense of how big those prints are.
Jason says, nothing makes a great thumbnail quite like a big pile of grizzly scat.
Yeah, that's what ended up in the Facebook page, I noticed.
But you know, people like to look at gross things for some reason. I don't know why. We're at the bottom.
At the bottom? Mm-hmm. Okay, I think we are at the bottom.
Oh,
okay.
All
Ending
right.
chat, guys. So I'm going to get out of the chat window, and we're going to get back to our outro window here.
All right. Quit doing that.
Oh,
Hello.
I didn't do that.
Sorry, we're like scattered right here. Well, thank you for visiting with us today. And
Wait, you're not transitioned yet.
I'm transitioning to whoosh.
We need a sound effect for that.
I just made one.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, do you want me to do a real one?
You have one?
I don't
Wait a
know.
minute, let me go back.
Let me see. What can we use? Oh, I know. Ready?
Let me go back. Wait. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and. That's what I get.
I thought it was fun. Would you rather it was a moo or something? I don't know.
A cowbell.
Cowbell. We did cowbell already.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for being here today and for all your questions and comments. Tomorrow night at 7:00 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time, we're going to try again with better internet this time.
We are not going to try. We are.
Better internet this time.
There is no try.
Dr. Smith is getting a new headset, so everything should be A-OK. Tomorrow night, we're going to visit with Dr. Tom Smith and talk about bears, bear behavior, bear safety. And he's a bear biologist, professor, associate professor, assistant professor, associate at Brigham Young University in the Wildlife and Forest Management department. And he seems very knowledgeable and excited to talk about bear safety with us and answer all of your questions as well. Our other panelists will be the same as last week, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Pam Shopman, Ramblin' Pam, Shannon Utz,
and Ryan.
and
will be back.
Ryan Chapelier from Exarban.
Exarban.
All right. And on Thursday, June 7th, we'll have book club. We'll be actually chapter 15, not 14, right? Buffalo Cowboys. Is that right? Isn't that 15?
Buffalo Cowboys, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that says chapter 14.
Yeah.
It's actually should be updated to chapter 15.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't number the chapters, so,
Yeah.
they're all kind of iffy anyway. But we'll be back Thursday, live streaming book club, talking about Buffalo Cowboys. Immediately following that, follow us on over. We're going to take 5 minutes to set up in between, but we'll be at the softer side doing our first live stream, and Toby and I will be doing that together. Toby's going to be producing and sidekicking, and I will be doing the presentation. And we're going to have a little mini mock session, which is going to be really fun, and then opening it up to chat and Q&A. And again, I'm looking for a moderator, so if you would like to volunteer for that, please send us an email and let us know.
Where should they send, if they want to moderate for your show, where should they send an email?
If you don't remember my email address, you can send it to a Gypsy's Kiss, but my email address for that is thesofterside.info@gmail.com.
But if you send it to a Gypsy's Kiss and just say, Shelley moderator, we'll get it.
Yeah. And then, of course, on Friday, we'll have Just the Facts. That will be our last Just the Facts, because we're going to be switching over after this Friday. We're going to be switching it over to All About You.
Right. It's All About You interviews. We have about 36 applications.
Ooh.
We will take them in and as they arrived order. And so we'll be contacting the first of you sometime this week to set up a conversation first, and then a Zoom conversation where we'll interview you, and that's what we'll be publishing Friday after next, the first of those. And every Friday thereafter, we will be producing or publishing rather.
And if you have any boots on the ground photos you would like to share, either as one of our searchers we're interviewing or just because you want to share them, send them to our email at agypsieskiss@gmail.com.
I wanted to say that there were a couple of searchers that sent me photos for this week. Well, they sent me photos, but the reason I didn't play them this week was that we were doing our own photos, so we'll make sure that we do them next Tuesday, okay? I don't want you to think we were ignoring you.
Much.
Okay, let me see what we got. I think that's it. We're done.
All right.
Oh,
and don't forget to like, and you know what? Go ahead and do it right now. I know you can do it. Just that like button with the thumbs up. Go ahead and click on it. Just click. Did you get it? All right. Thank you. And share this video with your social media contacts. All you got to do is click on the share thing and you know, all the little thingies come up and then you push on the button and then you just share it. It's pretty fun. I think it's fun. And subscribe if you haven't already. Subscribe, click on the bell to receive notifications whenever we go live or post a video.
that's all I got.
That's all you have? Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here with us today. Thank you to our moderators for keeping our chat safe and happy. And for A Gypsy's Kiss, the vlog, I'm Shelley Carney.
And I'm Toby Eunice. Thanks for joining us. We will see you tomorrow night.
Wait a minute.
Oh, the coin. Whoops. Okay. We were going to leave you guys hanging here.
Oh, no.
I almost forgot the coin. That means I got, wait, hang on. Hang on here.
Hang on.
Okay, we're going to have to do our
Sloopy,
outro all over
on.
again. Sorry about that, guys.
Oh, nobody wants to hear that again.
Okay, here it is.
What is that?
That is your mission to unscramble that. And what I need from you is a link to a photograph proving that you've solved this, and put it in the comments box below for this video.
On this video.
I need a link to a photograph proving that you've solved this. Okay? So you're going to have to come back to the video here.
That's a tough
To
one.
take a look. Yeah, it's not an easy one. Okay, transition. Here we come.
All right. Are we done?
I think this time we're done.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, wait a minute.
What?
They didn't see that.
Why?
I didn't transition. I didn't transition. Okay, so you're probably wondering,
Wait, what?
you guys are spaced today. We are. Okay, hang on. So let me do this again.
Hey,
So-
I'm wearing that same necklace.
Yeah, you are. All right, so transition over. Okay, so
Try that
here's,
again.
I'm going to transition over.
This time for
and,
sure.
And your mission is to post a link to a photograph proving that you solved the problem, okay? And do it in the comments box for this video. You ready? Here comes your hint / clue, whatever it is. Ready? I'm going to leave it up for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay? So in
so much
order
fun.
to win this coin, I need to see a link to a photograph proving that you solved that problem. And you have to be a subscriber in order to win. And I will check, right, to see if you're a subscriber. Okay? All right. Now,
We're done. All right. Well, we will see you tomorrow evening for the panel with Dr. Tom Smith. And thank you for joining us today for Gypsy's Kiss the Vlog. I'm Shelley Carney.
and I'm Toby Eunice. Thanks for watching. We will see you with our panel tomorrow night. We got to outro. New outro for you.